Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Evercade A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of the games on Blaze's Evercade retro gaming system. Today's game is Double Dragon. This was one of the defining entries in the beat-em-up genre, and the NES version that we'll see today from the Technos Collection 1 cartridge on Evercade was developed by Technos themselves. It was designed to be deliberately different to the arcade version to add a bit of longevity and a bit of interest. And also because Technos weren't very good at programming the NES at the time, so you see a few game design elements that are born from technical limitations, or the limitations on their own programming skill at the time. Now, while the NES version of Double Dragon does have its limitations, some of its more interesting design features have carried forward to modern takes on the genre, and we'll talk through them as we're playing the game. So, let's go play Double Dragon.
Okay, here we are with Double Dragon, the NES version, as played on the Evercade from the Technos Collection 1 cartridge. So, let us get started. Okay, so two ways to play this. Mode A is the main game mode, which is the only mode you will want to play, to be perfectly honest, because Mode B is a sort of half-finished one-on-one fighting game that is not very good at all. In fact, let's have a quick look at that first. So in Mode B, you can pick any of these characters who are found throughout Double Dragon. So let's just be Billy. And you'll notice that you can only fight mirror matches because either the NES didn't have enough memory, or Technos were not good enough at programming the NES to be able to do anything other than mirror matches. And this mode here is a prime example of why beat-em-up and fighting game are two distinct genres, because the fighting engine for a beat-em-up is not good for a fighting game. So the computer player clearly has an advantage in this mode, because he'll knock your health down with just one hit, and then it will take loads of hits for you to take even one pip of health off him. But hey, you can move up and down, which is not something you can normally do in a fighting game, with good reason most of the time. And there we are. That is the absolute pish that is Mode B of Double Dragon on the NES. So I wouldn't bother with that. Instead, play with Mode A, which is actually good. So, this is a loose adaptation of the arcade game, but built with the NES in mind. For better, for worse. I mentioned in the intro how Technos didn't really know a lot about programming the NES, and as such there are a number of deliberate limitations throughout this game, most notable of which is the fact that you'll only ever face two enemies at once, and they will both be the same kind of enemy. Now, to be honest, if no one pointed it out to you, you probably wouldn't notice it, because it's not at all unusual for beat-em-ups to confront you with multiples of the same enemy at once. But yeah, that is the reason it is that way. You'll also notice things like when you pick up a weapon, as soon as the next round of enemies appears, you won't be able to keep the weapon. The weapon will just disappear. So yeah, none of these are major issues or anything like that. It's just kind of interesting. Now, the interesting, unique thing that this game added to the arcade version, and indeed to the beat-em-up genre in general, is if you look down in the lower left corner, you'll see a little meter with a number on it. It currently says 300, and it's got a couple of hearts next to it. What this is an experience meter. And so what happens in Double Dragon is as you attack enemies, you will build up experience of that meter until it reaches 1,000, at which point you will gain a level, indicated by one of those hearts. And at each level, you'll unlock some new moves. So I don't think you actually get any stronger or anything like that, but you do unlock access to additional moves. And that specific system there has been carried forward into a lot of modern takes on the beat-em-up. Like if you take a look at the Senran Kagura series, is a good example. The first game in that series on the 3DS is very much a side-scrolling beat-em-up in this style. Excuse me. And it makes use of a levelling system. Of course, in Senran Kagura, there's sort of slightly more complexity to that as well, in that you've got an experience level, and then you've got levels for each of your different combat styles as well. But the principle is kind of the same for the combat style levels in particular, because as you increase those in level, each of the characters will unlock new moves, including new special moves and new combos that they can do as well. So you can trace that system right back to this game. Whether or not it was a deliberate homage or not, I don't know, but the fact is, it's there. So, the way this plays, you have two buttons. One button punches, and the other button kicks. And they each have their own slightly different reach. If you pick up a weapon, pressing the punch button will swing it, and pressing the kick button will just kick, as normal. You can jump by pressing both, and that allows you to do a jump kick. And that's essentially it. I can't remember if the grabs and throws are in this one. They're definitely in Double Dragon 2, but I can't remember if they're in this one. But yeah, this was a slightly different implementation of controls to Renegade, which is the direct predecessor to this game. Because Renegade had controls for you to attack in two different directions. And that control scheme is actually brought back for Double Dragon 2 on the NES. But this one is actually closer to what the arcade machine offered, which had punch, kick, and can't remember if it had a separate jump button, but it definitely had separate punch and kick buttons. There we are, another level. So yeah, this whole game is just structured a little bit differently from the arcade game. It's got a lot more in the way of sort of vertical scrolling sections like this. There's a bit of platforming as well, which is a little bit ill-advised. Given that oblique perspective is not ideal for platforming from, because it's quite difficult to judge which direction you're going. But you'll see that when we come to it, because that should be coming up quite soon, I think. Okay, so you lose a life, you get sent back a little ways, you can see, so it's not like your average coin-up beat-em-up where you sort of pick up where you left off almost immediately and all the other enemies go flying for a moment to give you time to get up safely. That answers that. You can do the grabs. That's normally achieved by hit-stunning an enemy and then walking into them. And then tapping one of the attack buttons to deal damage to them. On to mission 3. Right, this one's got a bit of platforming in it. But yeah, I mean, the cool thing about this game is that it feels very true to Double Dragon without just being an attempt to recreate the arcade machine. It's its own distinct thing that plays to the NES's strengths. And it's built for the home as well. I've talked about this in some of my articles that I've written previously. But I have much more fun with arcade-style games that have specifically been built for home consoles. Because they tend to have much better balanced difficulty. They tend to be more fun. And they tend to have a bit more of a sense of meaning to their overall structure. Like, it feels meaningful when you make progress in them. Whereas I'm someone who... I feel a bit guilty if I credit feed my way through an arcade game. It feels like I'm not really playing the experience the way it's quite supposed to be. I know it's entirely up to you how you play these things. And like, some people are perfectly happy with using save states and all that sort of thing, but I've always been someone who, when I play a retro game, I tend to like playing it how it was back in the day. So when this was released on the NES, you didn't have the ability to save your game. You didn't have... Well, you might have had a Game Genie or something like that to cheat, but... Oh, God. Stop hitting me! That's it. You fall in the water and die horribly. Right, here we are. Oblique perspective platforming, everyone. Up! Oh, well. That was good. Alright, so we just we pick up here with baseball bat guy. Why does it have to be baseball bat guy? And then there's knife dude on the other side. I don't like knife dude. Let's kill him. Don't knock me in the water. How much damage those knives do, though? And I don't think there is a way to heal. You do get healed between missions. But other than that, I don't think there's a way to get health back. So, considering this is a game where the developers supposedly didn't really know what they were doing with the hardware, I think this game actually looks pretty nice. Aside from a few amusing expressions you'll see on the faces of the characters, usually while they're getting injured. Like, some of the faces they pull in this are absolutely hilarious, and I can't tell if it's deliberate or if it's just bad art. But the backgrounds and stuff are certainly really nice. Oh no. It's game over for me. And no continues. No continues, because continues are for wimps. Let's try again. Alright, let's not get hit by knives this time. I think that's probably the key strategy here. So kicks have a slightly better reach than punches, so make use of those where we can. As fun as the uppercut combo is. I like the music in this. It's one of those sort of instantly recognisable themes, particularly, I think it's the second stage. That's the theme I hear and I think, yes, Double Dragon! You can hopefully see, even with the limitation on how many enemies there are on screen at once, this is still sort of following the conventions of beat-em-ups in terms of the fact that the game is very much about controlling space, understanding reach, and knowing the best way to deal with particular types of enemy. So finding ways to keep enemies at a distance is always really helpful. And the weapons are a good way of doing that in most circumstances. And of course you can find helpful little shortcuts for yourself like this one. Such as knocking a Bobo off the end of the conveyor belt. Which is always satisfying when you manage to do it successfully. Off you go. Oh, not quite. Need to do that a little bit closer to the end. And try not to fall off yourself as well. Come on, over here. There we go. Nicely done. On to mission 2. I think this is the one with what I feel is the most iconic music from Double Dragon on the NES. Ow. There is a way to do the back kick in this. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's a move you unlock later at a higher level. Either way, I don't seem to be able to do it right now. Alright, up and over. Deal with baseball bat guy. Yeah, jumping over his head seems to be quite an effective strategy. Ow. Get out of here. Home run! No. No, you don't. I'll be taking that. Ow! Rude. Right, not in an optimal position health-wise to deal with this next bit, but I guess we'll just have to do what we can. At least I haven't been knifed. I'm going to be thankful for small mercies. You gonna come up here? Good! Because then I will hit you again! And again! Alright, you, sir, are a bit of a pain, so I'm going to keep you at bay with some nice kicks. And you'll see a high level means that we've actually got a kick combo now. Oh good, no lives lost yet. Jolly good. Because I'll probably lose them all on this level, which is what normally happens. Right, don't... Oh! Knife does so much damage. Right, come on, throw it. There we go. Let him throw it at you from a distance. You can also have some. That's it. Throw it at me. I'll avoid it with a deft sidestep. And then kick you in the face. Alright, this is going much better. Not gonna... Ow. I've got an amazing amount of health, but it's better than no health. Right, another one of you. That bit in this music, it's just like, what? The composer was just like, oh, sod it. I need a loop point. Put in some weird synthesized cat noises. Ow. Ow. Alright, you come over here so I can kick you and then steal your bat and then hit you with it. See? Strategy! Alright, now I've got to deal with Knife Dude over here. I can't quite see. Well, that's annoying. I don't want to get knifed. That's it. Throw it. Throw it. Throw it. There we go. Oh, don't knock me in the water. Well, I didn't get knifed, which is something. Right, progress. And they caught up on the previous high score, that's good. I think we got about to here last time, didn't we? That's right, because we got killed by the Abobos at the end. But this time we're reaching the Abobos with a full stock of lives. Which is a much better position to be in. Alright, big guys, bring it on. Ow. Break the high score, though. No, don't let them surround you. Beat 'em up 101. I love how when the NES struggles, like the whole interface goes crazy. It's not just like normal slowdown, it's like the whole thing just starts shaking. I think my favourite instance of that happening is when I did an Atari A to Z flashback video on Adventure 2 for 2600. And there's just some sequences in that where if there's too many things on screen and if you're in one of the dark areas... full life refill when we ouch, when we enter here. Yeah, what was I saying? Episode of Atari A to Z flashback on Adventure 2 for Atari 2600, and towards the end of that, there's a sequence where you're like carrying the sacred chalice or whatever it is, and well, that's no good, is it? Possible. Yes, it is. Okay, so you can't just fall off a platform because that would be too easy. But we can go this way. You know what? I don't think I've ever got this far before. Because this looks completely unfamiliar to me. I've got most of the way through Double Dragon 2 before, but I don't think I've got here before. Which is exciting, isn't it? We go out there? Nope. Oh, please stop. Please stop. This game is not built for this kind of obstacle. Or this, for that matter. Oh no, is it looping? Oh no. Is it just going to loop until I get this bit right? Please no. Alright, jump! No! And into the fire. No, just down there again. Okay. Alright, we can do this. Stop that. Stop it. Ugh. Oh, that's game over. Okay, anyway, I think we'll leave that there for now. I do believe that actually genuinely is the furthest I've got in that game. Because, as I say, I tend not to... I prefer not to use save states and that sort of thing. And I usually get my butt kicked by those Zabobos at the end of the forest bit. But, well... It's always nice to capture a moment like that on video, isn't it? Anyway, we'll leave that there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.